Greetings. A little off the cuff, unplanned video today. We're going to talk more in depth about telepathy itself. What exactly is telepathy? What does science have to say about telepathy, which shouldn't come as any surprise because it's the same thing that people have talked about for hundreds of years. It's coming from your pineal gland. It doesn't come from any other part of your brain at all, telepathy. And it sounds like you're having a telephone call with somebody sometimes. Like when you can hear somebody's thoughts, it's like you're having a telephone call in your third eye pineal gland. And in particular, people who think that they are having a two-way telepathic conversation with their twin flame 100% of the time, every time I've talked to one of these people, 100% of the time, it's something like it's not coming from their pineal gland, or it's really intuition, which you can have, which comes from your heart, not your pineal gland, third eye, your heart. Sometimes even like down here, like your solar plexus or your sacral. You can have it down there too. But that's intuition. It's this weird, eerie knowing. Telepathy is in your third eye where your pineal gland is only. It's not coming from here or here or here. It's your pineal, guys. Another possibility, people who think that they're talking to their twin flame telepathically or talking to their spirit guides telepathically, could be somebody with psychosis or they're working on it. Guys, I'm warning you. This is why I'm doing this is the real reason I wanted to do this video today. You're on the internet looking for information about your twin flame. If you really met your twin flame, you're gonna encounter people like this, and they are the nicest people. That's the problem with it. There's ways for you to spot personality disorders or holes in the story. If it's not some kind of a personality disorder, then there's going to be holes in the story. They ignore the science. There's real science and real scientific literature that is being published about telepathy. Let me show you something. Come to my YouTube channel. Here's the homepage. Scroll down. Here we go. Featured channels. Scroll over a little bit. Here's Closer to Truth. And this is one of the reasons I put this YouTube channel. I want to show you that there is legitimate science into telepathy, near death experiences, time travel, consciousness. Okay. I don't know how this narrator knows all these people, but he knows the best minds in science and philosophy. And he just did a couple videos talking about telepathy and other forms of ESP. He was talking to somebody who actually researches it for a living. Where is it? 10 days ago. Was it that one? It was a woman. Maybe it was. Hold on. Here, let me pause this. Oh, here it is right here. Julia Mossbridge, this one right here in the middle. And she is actually a researcher who is funded. That's what I'm telling you, you guys. This isn't just quack science anymore. There are scientific organizations that are getting funded to do research on this stuff. And it's because they're finding things that they can prove incontrovertibly, not the voices in your head, not some random person on the internet that thinks they met their twin flame or thinks they're talking to their spirit guides. And the logistics of how telepathy functions. Okay, there's one way. You don't get to decide. And this is another thing that pisses me off when people throw stones at me because they think I'm saying stuff like this to just be mean. Why is that? Because I am tearing down this false sense of identity that they have created for themselves as a spiritual person who believes in things that are not scientifically true at all. And the internet is jammed full of that stuff. The internet is horrible. If you type in what is telepathy, you're going to get a bunch of BS, guys. I just did it on Google. Go to the library, dude. Go to the library and get a book that was published before the year 1970 if you want to know what is up with telepathy, or even better, look into these scientific organizations. Watch this video with Julia Mossberg. Find out what people are really saying about it. Yeah, it's real, but if you're making stuff up and then you're believing it, there's a problem. And there's more. Here, I'm gonna show you a video that I just posted actually in my True Spiritual Journey paid coaching space. And I'm going to splice it onto this video that you're watching here. And then you can watch the whole thing. But I just wanted to do this intro on YouTube and Facebook for everybody. Because I got to say, guys, you don't know who you're talking to in these twin flame chat rooms and Facebook groups. You don't know who it is, guys. Unfortunately, even though twin flames is a real phenomenon, which can be measured scientifically and described scientifically, as always, like I always say, it's attracting all kinds of outsiders that haven't met their twin flame, and they have various reasons for saying they met their twin flame. And one of them, you guys, are people with legit psychological problems, and you usually cannot tell unless you know what red flags to look for. I've been coaching people for 7 years, and I can spot it right away. But if you don't, because the thing is they may come across as a very nice person. And a lot of the time, people that have these, like psychosis, for example, someone that's listening to the voices in their head, that's one of the things. They usually have kind of a high IQ too. So they're smart. They're smart, but they have issues. Okay. And you could be talking to them, giving them your money, taking advice from them. Is that a good idea? No. So you guys better be careful out there. One more thing. You are not having telepathy, two-way telepathy with your twin flame. Again, and if you want to leave comments in the comments section of this video insisting that you are doing that, I hope that you do, because I need to know who to block. And I'm not sorry, guys. Again, every time, 100% of the time, it's either somebody where they didn't even meet their twin flame at all. It's the voices in their head, and that's not a good sign. If they're listening to the voices in their head, it's not coming from their pineal gland. Or it could be just intuition. It's intuition. Go watch my video. I'll link it for you in the description. It's called Understanding Intuition. What is it? It's not sound or sights in your pineal gland. It is not that. Again, your pineal gland, it's going to be like watching television or listening to a radio. Telepathy, right? Intuition is coming from like your torso, right? I'll link that intuition video for you. So no, there has been zero people. There's been a lot of people that have come along insisting, and I can already hear it, some person going on Reddit and going, that Kurt, he invalidated my belief. I know I'm having telepathy. He's bad. He just thinks he's right all the time. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's go to the University of Virginia or the Monroe Institute and sit you down in front of one of these paid, funded researchers doing peer-reviewed, controlled scientific studies into telepathy. You tell them your story. You know what they're going to tell you? You should talk to a therapist. That's what they're going to tell you. Okay. Again, I'm not doing this to be a dick. There's two things. Number one, this is real. This kind of stuff, telepathy, twin flames, but you're making it infinitely harder than it needs to be to actually like have a legitimate scientific conversation about it when you make shit up. and then get mad about it and say that the researcher is bad. Hmm. Number two, again, watch out, guys. You don't know who you're talking to out there in these Facebook groups, chat rooms. You don't know who it is, guys. I do the best job that I can do to screen what's going on in my public New World All Star Facebook group. I've got a couple of moderators in there keeping an eye on things. We're not just letting it, and most of them do. Most of these Facebook groups, they do. They just let it, like, do people do whatever. There's no like enforcement of the rule. There is no rules. People just do what they want, you know? No, I am on top of my shit, guys. I'm paying attention to what's going on here. All right, here's the rest of the video. What is and is not telepathy? We're going to talk about more in depth, and some of it might be repetitive, but I think you'll find it interesting. All right, watch this. Here's a good way to waste about 60 seconds of your life that you'll never get back. We're going to ask Google what telepathy is. Yeah, I don't know, man. We haven't reached 60 seconds yet, so I'm just going to cut my losses right now. I think you know what the problem is there, you guys. Okay, it's very simple. Telepathy is noise or visions coming from your pineal gland, the location from where the sound is coming from is 100% essential. So there's this phenomena. I don't remember the word for it. There's a psychological term for it, but you can have voices in your head where it's sometimes it sounds like it's coming from over here, this part of your head, back here, right? And sometimes it sounds like it's coming from here, right? Um, Frontal lobe, I've heard people from the frontal lobe, right? And it's your mind, it's your internal dialogue. It's not somebody else talking to you. See, the thing with telepathy is you're receiving thoughts or information from outside. These locations in your brain, that's coming from inside your mind. And this is something people experience sometimes, ordinary people, where it's your mind. Your mind is so good, guys, especially people with a higher IQ. They have this happen, it seems like more than most people, where the thoughts that are going on, it's it has its own sense of autonomy. Like you hear talking going on over here on this part of your brain, and it's like it's able to have its own autonomous conversation. It's like it's your mind is acting like somebody talking. And your perception is to listen to it. So there's this subject object relationship. And I don't remember what the term for that is, but they've described it this way. And again, it's the location in your brain. So we're talking about things that are not telepathy, right? By the way, most people, when they hear something like that, they just kind of forget about it. They hear it and they're, I don't know. It's just thinking, and they go about their day. But sometimes you get somebody that starts to believe it actually is some person talking to them, right? And the further they go down that path, it's like they develop a relationship with the voices in their head, and they call this psychosis. So watch out for that. Now, telepathy. Telepathy, really clear, really easy to understand, super simple. It is coming through the third eye chakra, which is exactly where your pineal gland is. So, the middle of my skull here and the middle here, where my fingers would connect in the middle is where your pineal gland is. That's where your third eye chakra is. And when you hear it, like if it's, I don't know, if you've ever had this happen, you can hear somebody else, you can hear what they're thinking, or um, your dead grandma's talking to you, right? Something like that. It sounds like a little loudspeaker inside the middle of your skull, right where your pineal gland is. It's not over here. It's not over here. It's not your frontal lobe. It's where the pineal gland is. It's where your third eye chakra is, because the third eye chakra is the radio transmitter receiver of thought. So you can hear talking or you can see things, and it's located where your pineal gland is. And again, if you hear talking, it's this weird, there's even like the first time it ever happened to me, there was even like this crackling, like a radio kind of. It was somebody else's voice. And by the way, when it happened, it was so obviously not my mind that was doing this that I stopped and I was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck was that? Whoa. Holy shit," like that. Like I was so blown away by it. Now, this little voice down here or over here, these other locations in your head, when it happens, it's just kind of like an ordinary experience. You don't really pay it any mind because it's your mind, and most people know that. But again, some people they don't. And this is a problem, you guys, in the spiritual community. You're going to get some, and you don't know who these people are, guys. You got to watch out. You got to watch out for these people, you guys, because you don't know if you're dealing with somebody that's got some kind of personality disorder or PTSD or I don't know, guys. People have these conditions, psychosis, whatever it is, and they are listening to the voices in their head. That's not healthy. That's pretty dangerous, actually. And I would not talk to these people if I was you. Legit telepathy, again, you don't need me to tell you how to do it. You don't need me to tell you that it's real. Okay. You can go to the library. So I just showed you Google, right? You can go to the library. If you really want to know what telepathy is, go to the library and look for a book that's older than, say, 1980. If you can find a book that's older than 1970, that's even better because the 1970s is when a lot of this kind of new agey stuff happened. Another thing that you could do is you can look at, and I'm not talking about intuition. I just want to say it's sounds and sights in your third eye where your pineal gland is. Um, University of Virginia, you could go learn about some of the scientific research that they're doing into telepathy, ESP, um, remote viewing even. I mean, there's legitimate research into it. And if you could actually talk to one of the researchers there and ask them the types of ESP that they are working with, telepathy is going to be one of them. This is another thing that people get confused about is the lingo, right? And people in, it's totally innocent, there's nothing nefarious usually behind this, but it'll be using words interchangeably, right? And I think that's what confuses people. So, for example, when I talk about telepathy, somebody else might be thinking about something completely different unless I explain it. Or when I go, oh, yeah, you're going to have these psychic abilities, right? And they instantly think about hearing things in their head. And I could be talking about intuition, which is the knowing. So there's different kinds of ESP psychic ability, right? Um, and telepathy is one of them. Telepathy is the third eye pineal gland. Again, this is pretty well established. There's even scientific institutions, the University of Virginia, the Monroe Institute, stuff like this, where, yeah, if you could have a conversation with one of the researchers, they would go, yeah, that's one of the forms of psychic ability. And yes, it's in your pineal gland. It's not here. It's not here. When you hear it, you're going to be shocked, unless you're somebody that's been doing it for a long time and you're just kind of used to it, right? But the first time, guys, if this has ever happened to you, I'm sure you already know what I'm talking about. I've only experienced ESP a handful of times, or I'm sorry, telepathy. See, I just did it. Telepathy a handful of times, maybe five, maybe somewhere between 5 and 10, even, right? Um, and every time it's it takes you by surprise. It really does. And I was able to verify, like, for example, one person, I could hear his voice saying something, and I looked at the clock, and then I went back to sleep. I was like laying down, right? And then later, when he gets home, so we were roommates, I go, "Hey, at 2:30, were you thinking this thing?" And he goes, or I didn't even ask him what it was. I said, or say that to him. I said, "What were you thinking?" And he was thinking about the stuff that I was hearing, right? That's what I'm telling you. Like, I was able to confirm it. And again, it's not a sound that's on this part of your head or this part of your head. Another thing that you'll see people do is they'll claim to be receiving telepathic messages, and what they're listening to is some kind of voice in their head, again, coming from the sides. And it's happening like all day, every day. So the number of times that they believe themselves to be receiving some kind of telepathic messages could be in the thousands, because it's been going on for so long, a year or something, since they think they had a spiritual awakening. And it's really just the voices in their head, or they think it's their guides talking to them or something, But again, it's coming from the sides, um, not the middle. And when you have thousands upon thousands of these thoughts that you believe to be telepathic experience, when you have thousands and thousands of these events, these thoughts, if you get one or two that seemingly are coming true, well, that's not really good enough, especially if you've had some of them where they didn't come true, right? Um, yeah, that's not good enough. If you've had thousands, if I was a third party researcher trying to confirm something, I would want you to do better than, a tenth of a percent confirmation rate. And again, you know, you'll find holes in the things that people are saying. You'll find holes in it because they'll say things like, "Oh, well, there was a couple of times where it didn't come true. It turned out to not be true. But then I found out it was for this reason." They'll have some way to kind of like justify it, justify the failure. It's an extremely low, it's almost negligible rate of times that you can prove it, right? And again, it's coming from the sides of their heads. And again, people that do this, they're listening to their own internal dialogue and actually treating it like it's some being talking to them. These are the beginning stages of psychosis. You're going the wrong way. If that's you, yeah, think about not doing that. Last thing I just want to say for everybody in the group, if you are having somebody ever contacting you through Facebook Messenger, so again, I already warned you guys about this. You don't know who these people are, guys, in this group. I'm the coach. I've coached thousands of people in this program, and it's a thing, guys. Unfortunately, from time to time, you get somebody in the program who's not all there. And they usually have a very high IQ, and you know, they're good at compartmentalizing, creating stories, creating justifications, excuses, making things up to create a situation for themselves that they might not really be in. And yeah, just be careful who you talk to, guys. You don't know who's in this program. Doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes. Sometimes, guys. Come down to the ground. Come down to the ground. And again, there's ways to prove this stuff. There are already scientists, researchers that are looking into psychic phenomenon, including telepathy. And yeah, they are able to define it. They are able to describe exactly what it is precisely. It's the same every time. And you can contrast that with other things that we know about how the mind works. The mind is sophisticated, guys. It can create sensations and voices and things like that that seemingly are something other than what they really are, which is just thoughts. The mind is complex, guys. So watch out for that kind of stuff. All right, guys.